Hey, all you beautiful peeps out there. Thank you for joining me for another debunk. Today I'm going back to Hammy Boy. Just can't get enough of our old Hammy Boy. He is a hoot. Anyway, if you're new, welcome. If you're coming back, welcome back, and let's go. But before we start, please subscribe to my channel. If you already know you're going to like this, go ahead and like it, or you can dislike it if you want. Go ahead and leave comments. I love all of your comments and I do read them. And I do not delete comments. If your comments get deleted, it was YouTube that did it. So grab your snacks and probably you need your facepalm gear because we are dealing with Hammy Boy after all. And he definitely is one of those facepalm people. And get comfortable and let's go. Take it away. And while you're thinking about it, if you're new, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button? And if you've already subscribed to me, make sure you're still subscribed because for some reason, YouTube loves to unsubscribe people. Also, if you're new here, I'd like to thank you very much for giving me a chance. And for my fans and subscribers, thank you so much for coming back. You are the lifeblood of this channel. And now, with that, let's get on with the video.
Language, you can actually read the word. Did you know that DNA is sort of like that? It's like two pieces of rope, if you like, and has these base pairs, these molecules. You know what's the interesting thing? DNA has all this information, incredible amount of information, that builds a dog or a cat or a human. It's this molecule of heredity. Well, it has to be read by a language. You know what else is interesting? DNA is the information to make the language to read the DNA. It's all got to be there or it won't work.
Jesus fucking Christ. Let me get my thoughts together. Okay. DNA is not a language, Ken. I don't know where you got that from. But fine, I'll give it to you. It's a language. This is a favorite Yecker talking point that DNA has a lot of information. Again, I don't know where they get that. However, if they want us to buy that, then they need to define what they mean by information. DNA is the information to make the language to read the DNA. What the fuck was that? Never mind. I know what it was. It was word salad. Ken, I don't even know what you're trying to say. Get good at communicating before you want to communicate something. And you know what part of getting good at communicating something means? It means being familiar with what you're trying to communicate. Seriously, you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Hammy boy, I am far from a chemistry whiz, but even I understand that that is not how chemistry works. Come on. You're supposed to have a post-secondary education, so you should know this shit.
Look, let's take the letters of an alphabet and cut them up and put them in a hat. By the way, I should have asked where did the letters of the alphabet come from, but I didn't think to ask that question at the time. Why do the letters of the alphabet even exist? I didn't think to ask that question at the time. In fact, there's lots of questions I didn't think to ask at the time.
Who could tell me how the formula begins? Skip it up and that up.
We got a word by chance. Wow, given enough time, we could get another word. Given enough time, we could get a sentence. Given enough time, we could get the Encyclopedia Britannica. I know, that sounds stupid and remote, but you must admit there's always the possibility. I mean, you've seen the lottery, and then it keeps building and building because somebody's going to happen to get the right combination, and they do. There we are. See, it's the same sort of thing.
Jesus fucking Christ, Ken. Will you please sit down before you hurt yourself? As much as I loathe you, I really don't want to see you hurt. We invented alphabets, you idiot. Seriously. Ken, let me ask you something. Do you really believe there's only one language and one alphabet in the entire world? That was sarcasm, by the way. I know you know there are more alphabets, so this makes no goddamn sense. Okay, little hammy boy, give me your little hand, because this might be a bit much for you, okay? Adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine are not letters. They are chemicals. We just give them the letters. Wow, we got a word. You do know, I know you've got PhD giggles on staff, but you do know that's not exactly how it works, right? I mean, you don't put letters in a hat and dump them all out and voila, you get a word. That is not how nature works. That is how magic works. You see, little hammy boy, you keep what works and then you put the rest back in the hat. And to keep your weak analogy of alphabets going, you are totally dismissing the fact that other alphabets have existed in the past and have gone extinct. Yeah, so try again.
You don't need God. It just happened to be the right molecules come together at the right time, by chance, and there it is. Now, Dr. Werner Gitt is a German scientist, and he's an information scientist. He wrote a book on information, and here's what he said. There is no natural law through which matter can give rise to information. Stop right there for a moment. No one has ever seen anywhere in the world one example where matter on its own will produce information.
What the fuck are you talking about? The first things in the universe were not molecules. You should know this. Molecules are highly, quote unquote, complicated, to use your dumbed down word. No, molecules weren't first. Yes. I was wondering when you were going to get to Werner Gitt. First of all, Werner Gitt is not an information scientist. He is an engineer. And second of all, he's a young earth creationist. So forgive me if I don't believe him. See what I mean by word salad? Now, to be fair, these aren't Ken Ham's words. He's just quoting Werner Gitt. But seriously, what the fuck does that mean? Matter can't create information or whatever? What? Like I said in one of my earlier videos, I usually don't have a problem translating stupid because this is the world I grew up in, but even I can't translate this. I'm sorry. Kenny boy, you'll have to do better.
It's impossible. Life could not come about on it by itself. People who believe that, it's just beyond logic. It's not common sense. It's a fairy tale.
Project much?
At least we don't believe in a magic genie in the sky. But on that topic, I should point out that there are many theists, including many Christians, that accept both the Big Bang Theory and the theory of evolution. In fact, the first one that we know of for now to suggest the BBT was a Christian, that is, a Catholic priest. And I know you don't accept Catholics as Christians, but they are. Speaking of logic and common sense, have you ever thought to, apply some continuity to your thought processes and apply that to your God? You know, if your God is so big that according to you, he created this entire complicated universe, then it stands to reason that he's more complicated, doesn't it? And so that means he would need a creator, which puts you in, say it with me now, everyone, an infinite regression, which is a headache and a half for you, Kenny boy. And if you say, well, God doesn't need a creator, then you can pretty much say that about the universe too, now can't you?
Bill Nye, for instance, they believe all life is related, that somehow, billions of years ago, matter produced life. For instance, if you're going to change a reptile into a bird, reptiles don't have genetic information for feathers, so somehow you've got to generate new information, but you've got to generate new information starting with nothing, and you've got to generate a code, and over millions of years you've got to generate all this new information to get zillions of bits of information. People, it's impossible.
Dude, I literally found this doing a 2-second search, if even that long, on Google. So it ain't that hard to find. Of course, this doesn't bode well for your narrative now, does it? So basically, US scientists have discovered the genes that are responsible for the scale to feather evolution. Big surprise. And Professor Ching Ming Chuang, apologies if I got the pronunciation wrong, I probably butchered it, but he took alligator eggs, which are the closest to archosaurs that we have today. And archosaurs are the ancestors of birds, and expressed the genes plural, sorry about that, uh, um, in the alligator egg. And what he found when the alligator hatched was very akin to what archosaur protofeathers were like. So, Kenny boy, tell me again how impossible that is. And speaking of impossible, how is a magic man in the sky possible? You never ever addressed that. Gee, I wonder why.
You know what DNA actually cries out? In the beginning, God created. Isn't it exciting to be a Christian? Wow, there's 5 people excited this morning. That's really good. I'm speaking to a very excited audience here in Atlanta. That's really great. Isn't it exciting to be a Christian? It's against what we observe. It's against science. And what they do is they just try to intimidate by what they say. Majority of them have no idea why they believe what they do.
Bullshit, fucking bullshit, fucking bullshit, holy shit, fuck it.
Couldn't think of anything smarter to say than DNA shouts out, "In the beginning, God created." Wonderful, Ken. First of all, DNA doesn't shout out anything because it's a thing. It doesn't shout out anything, moron. Second, you don't tell us how it, quote unquote, shouts out, "In the beginning, God created," because you can't. I mean, PhD giggles can't even explain it on a level you can understand. So, it doesn't really surprise me that you have no fucking clue that if your God is real and DNA, quote unquote, shouts out that God created it, your God is a fucking moron. Seriously. That's all it says. Ken, have you ever thought that, you know, you had to wake people up to get that amen? Which, what the fuck is up with that? Why do you need accolades? Anyway, moving on. That you had to wake them up because you put them to sleep to begin with. I noticed that you say it's against science, but you don't tell us how it's against science. Do you know why, Kenny boy, you don't tell us why it's against science? It's because it's not against science. And also, we're not the ones intimidating people. I also find it hilarious that you say that we don't know why we believe what we believe when, Hemi boy, it's you people who don't know why you believe what you believe. Because I can guarantee you, you don't. For instance, if I was talking to a Christian and I asked them why about anything, not just religion, just about anything, and told them that they could not use the Bible, they would be at a fucking loss of words. Well, friends, I don't want to induce a concussion or a brain aneurysm due to face palms, so I think that's enough stupid for today. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. For some reason, I had to get another Twitter account, so if you're already following me, please make sure that you are following me on my new account, link in the description, instead of my old account. Um, so, yeah. Um, we're getting invaded by the stupid over here in America. Don't know about anywhere else in the world, but definitely here in America. Australia, if you want Ken Ham back, I'll gladly hand him over to you. Mm, You know, I can't deport him. I can't do anything. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, maybe together we can get him to go back to Australia. Then you guys can deal with him. Don't forget to hit the like button. And if you are not subscribed, please subscribe. If you are subscribed, make sure you're still subscribed because for some reason YouTube loves to unsubscribe people. And I will talk to you next time. Bye, everyone. I recently set up a Patreon account. You can follow me over there. I will start releasing patron only content as soon as I get probably about 10 people. So, yeah, follow me over there only if you are in a financially stable position. If you like what I do, please consider becoming a member of this channel. You can become a member for as low as 99 cents a month. You get custom emojis and you get these debunks early. Well, friends, until next time, I bid you adieu, and may you always have stupid to entertain you. Goodbye.